Good evening, Fighting Scots. I'm Jen Armstrong, the Director of Alumni Engagement at Monmouth College. Welcome to Money Boss 101, presented by Deletra Hudson, a 1992 Monmouth College grad, and moderated by Regina Johnson, Director of Multicultural Student Services, and a Monmouth grad from 2001. We're so thrilled that you're all joining us. This is our first hybrid event, so we have some people in the classroom in person with us, and we have many people that are virtual. So before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. Today's event will be recorded and it'll be available on the Monmouth College website next week. For the best viewing experience during the presentation, please make sure you're in speaker mode, which can be selected in the upper right-hand corner of your screen if you're virtual. Attendees can ask questions using the chat feature, and at the end of the presentation, we'll read those questions to Deletra. Also at the end of the presentation, if you're virtual, you'll see a survey pop up on your screen. So please feel free to use the survey to give us your feedback. And now I'd like to hand the floor over to Regina.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I have the privilege to introduce Deletra Hudson, class of 1992. Deletra graduated from Monmouth. She has her MBA. She's often referred to as the financial educator. She is the owner of Deletra Hudson, LLC, a financial coaching and consulting firm in St. Louis, Missouri. She is a best-selling and award-winning author and national speaker who possesses over 25 years of financial experience. Her years of experience include working with corporations, municipalities, non-profit agencies, if I can get that out at the end of the day, small businesses, churches, and professionals. Deletra is the founder of the Financial Wealth Institute of America, FWIA, an online financial academy created to help increase financial knowledge for small business owners, professionals, and youth through seminars, courses, books, educational systems, and workshops. Deletra is most passionate about her work as a youth financial literacy advocate. She is on a mission to fill the financial education gap left by our nation's education system. In 2016, she published her debut children's book, Money Doesn't Grow on Trees. In 2018, she published her second children's book, AJ Discovers the $2 Bill, under the new publishing company, Money Matters Publishing, and became a best-selling author for her adult inspirational women's empowerment book collaboration titled Boss Moms, #Boss Moms. Deletra Hudson believes in educating youth, empowers families, and transforms communities. She is on a mission to transform communities around the world by making women more money-wise through their Money Boss Wealth Club. She is also a wife and a mother of 3 children whom she affectionately refers to as her legacy keepers. I am privileged to welcome Deletra Hudson.
Good evening, everyone. It is truly a pleasure to be back on the campus of Monmouth College. I can't remember the last time I've been here, but I may have been here maybe once or twice since I graduated in 1992, but just the experience of being here and seeing some of the things on campus, I can't wait for my tour and to let you know what a great experience this is going to be. I'm just super excited, yay! So we are going to jump right into it. You've been given the instructions. We'll go through the presentation and then we will take questions afterwards. So let's get started. Money Boss 101, I control my money so I can control my freedom. All right, so the first thing is, I'm gonna get this clicker working.
I might have to click the PowerPoint.
I know.
All right, give us just a minute. We have a little technical thing that we're gonna work out. So I'm gonna pose and let Molly take a power shot. Isn't that what we do? All right, I love it. Okay, Gina's gonna work that out. So the instructions are that if you have any questions just pose them to the moderator and she
Okay.
will repeat them to me. I will answer them when we get to that point. And then, okay, thank you so much. And then the questions in the room, I will repeat them so those that are online can join us as well. So let's first start it off by saying, how do you define your freedom? Freedom is defined by others in many different ways. Some people define their freedom as not having to worry about their bills, or having the accessibility to afford the car of their dreams, or just money in the bank, or being able to vacation whenever they feel like it. So your freedom may be different than my freedom. So first you have to determine, how do you define your freedom? Uh-oh,
Oh,
going the wrong way.
Yep.
Is this upside down?
There you go.
Okay. We're gonna get this clicker action working, but in the meantime, I am Deletra Hudson, the financial educator, owner of Deletra Hudson LLC, founder of the Financial Wellness Institute of America, best-selling and award-winning author of children and adult books on financial literacy. All things financial literacy is what I like to talk about. And I am a national speaker. I love what I do. I've been doing financial work for over 25 years. I started off when I went to Monmouth College, and I was sharing this story with Molly. I graduated with my degree in accounting and communications. Along the way, I decided I didn't like accounting anymore. So anybody on the line who is a student and you're still on the fence about what direction you want to go in life, don't think you have to figure it all out right now. So I got into the industry. I started working in different areas of finance and found my niche. I call it, I found my jam. My jam is looking at the numbers, analyzing the numbers, predicting the numbers, and that is where I fit into the financial component of the financial industry, where I work with government municipalities, businesses, and individuals who work for those businesses, as well as nonprofits and the executives. I am a certified financial professional, which means that I am a certified financial analyst. I am a certified master financial planner, along with my MBA, where I specialize in financial management for municipalities, women-owned small businesses, and professionals. So the mission of my company is to transform the state of financial management in communities worldwide by teaching simple financial strategies to the community leaders, women-owned businesses, and professionals to support them with improving their money management skills and building generational wealth. And that's what we want to talk about. The mission of my company is to assist this year 100 people save $100,000 by December 31st, 2021. And guess what? If we don't make the goal, we just keep on trying. So I do this through hosting events, workshops, seminars, and through my firm's financial academy. These are some of my community partners. We have the NAACP, Grace Hill, the Urban League, US Bank, Country Financial, the National African Americans Insurance Association, United Way, and more, which means that these are companies that I've worked with. We've done programs together. I've done speaking events for them and taught some of their constituents in their organizations. These are some of my municipality partnerships in the St. Louis area. And these are some of the places, this is just a few of some of the places that I've been featured, where I have gone on the air, been featured in the newspaper, just to establish some of the credibility about what it is that I do. You know what? We're gonna get this thing together. One of my missions is to be the voice that every leader needs to hear about managing their money and making sound financial decisions. That is the goal. When you establish yourself as credible, people find it easier to follow in your footsteps. We live in a capitalistic society, and these are some of the things that I want to point out for you to understand your power with your money. Our money gives us the opportunity to live in the society and grow in the society that we live in from a different perspective. So we all have to, one, understand where we stand in the world that we're in. So on an average, African Americans make approximately 60% less than their white counterparts. The average income is $30,000, where in some areas it's compared to an upper $50,000. So when we look at that, we have to position ourselves to learn what it is that we need to do to change those dynamics. On average, women make 79 cents on a dollar less than that dollar that man makes. Women, we have to understand where we stand with the economy. But African American women, we make 72 cents on average to that dollar. Why are we talking about these statistics? The Economic Policy Institute says that 12 million women are heads of households. We have to understand where we are. So that means women are the ones raising the children. And when we are heads of households, even if we are in a relationship or married, the children are still watching all of our actions. So how we manage money, they're watching that. The National Association of Women Business Owners report that in 2020, 39% of small business owners were owned by women. And approximately 11.6 million of those firms generated $1.7 trillion to the economy. Approximately 46% of business owners by women of color, and there's 14% of those that are owned by African American women. African American women business owners have grown over 300% since 1997. It is time for us women to create a source, our own success by building our own legacy. Now, men, we're not leaving you behind. We just need to know where we stand. All right, so understanding your dollar helps you become conscious of how you spend your money, as well as educating yourself about your personal finances and developing better money habits. So communicating with the people that we owe and taking simple steps to start setting yourself up and your family up for success. We must be the transformers of our family's financial position. Are we ready? All right, let's be ready. So here are 4 steps that I want to teach you on how to start taking control of your money. First, pay yourself first. Despite what you make, how much money you make, doing what, it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters is what you do with the money that you make. Can we agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So first, paying yourself first, we start creating self-wealth. We must create a system that allows us to pay ourselves first. We must pay where we pay, what we pay from doesn't matter, but how much we make doesn't matter either. What matters is what we do with what we have coming in. That may sound a little unbelievable, but it does really work. There's a story that I heard, and I don't want to get off tangent, but I do like to share stories because it helps us relate. There was a school teacher who made $24,000 a year and retired as a millionaire. Simply because it matters what you do with what you make, not how much money you make. Allocating 10% of your income towards your savings, allowing that savings to build, transfer that to investments. That's how you start to build wealth. The wealth comes from the compounding of interest, where your money can work for you as opposed to you working for your money. We may talk a little bit more about that later if we have time. Step number 2 is automating your finances. How we automate our finances is creating a system that allows you to automatically save and pay your bills and other financial obligations. So let's talk about saving, then we're going to talk about bill pay on an automatic basis. Saving first. Visit your bank. How do you set this up? I'm going to give you simple steps. Remember, I teach simple financial strategies. Simple steps on how to start implementing the plan. Savings. You simply go to your bank, set it up with your bank or your HR department, and allocate what it is that you want automatically coming out of your paycheck or automatically transferred from another account to start setting up those savings. And the reason we do automation is because, believe it or not, I'm gonna tell you a secret, we can't trust ourselves. We can't trust ourselves to be a part of that manual process. So we set the system up, we take our hands off of it, we let it work for itself so that we can start seeing the results that we desire to receive. Okay, so also creating an automatic plan to invest will also help you start to save for retirement. So not only are we talking about saving, when we talk about saving, saving is a big bubble. When we start saving, we're saving for reasons. We're saving to buy a house, we're saving for retirement, we're saving for an emergency fund. So determine what your reason for saving is, as well as how you're saving. Are you going to save through a retirement plan? Are you going to go through a financial advisor and set up an investment or brokerage account? Or are you using your bank, which you're not getting any money on your bank. So determining what that looks like and setting up the right tools to produce the outcome. Okay. I think I keep flipping this thing around in my hand. All right, number 2 is bill pay, setting up your bills for automatic payment. Simply getting on the phone or going to the website now. I mean, I forgot, I'm a Gen Xer, we determined that. And we came from a time where we got on the phone and called people. Well, people don't like to talk to people anymore. So you can set these things up online and be able to automate your bill pay process, which also helps in several different ways. So automating your bill payment process, one, continues to allow you to have timely payments, minimize fees and penalties, as well as helps improve your credit. It all depends on what type of bill it is that impacts your credit report. So making sure that you're setting those things up and have those reoccurring bills set up on a schedule. So how do we start to create this system? The plan is to create a system that will help you automatically save and pay your bills and other financial obligations. The benefits are that you create the savings and investment funds that you desire. You start to increase your own net worth. You improve your credit, and you start to reduce some of your tax obligations. Who all wants that? We want that, right? This is just the start. So don't save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. That is a quote from Warren Buffett. We can agree is one of the all-time wealth investors in our country right now. So now that we've learned how to, one, start to understand what it is, what our plans are that we want to do with our money. We start to learn how we're going to save and implement plans. And now we're going to talk about how to turn your passion into a paycheck. So you may be like, Deletra, you started off the slide showing me all this vacation and nice homes and cars, but even after I learned to do better things with my money, I still don't have enough money. So here are some ways that we're going to learn how to add another source of income to our existing income. Never depend on a single source of income. Make an investment to create a second source. Another quote by Warren Buffett. So turning your passion into a paycheck. Creating an additional source of income outside and doing what it is that you love to do. when we do what we love to do, it doesn't feel like work. We've heard that said before, and it's true. And I'm not telling anybody to quit their job, so I don't want anybody to say, well, Deletra said you can, I just need to be doing what I love to do. No, you still gotta pay bills. So I'm not telling anybody to quit their job, but what I will tell you to do is let your job fund your dream. Okay? We get motivated by that. We find our passion and I gotta get this done. I gotta make my business work. So when you need to make your business work, that job looks a little different. It doesn't look like a headache anymore. It looks like, oh, I'm funding my dream. So turning that passion into a paycheck is making money do what you love to do. Start a business, sell some goods or services. Some of us have skills and we just give our skills away sometimes. I have a cousin that loves to crochet. She is an amazing craft person, and she does an awesome job at crocheting, and she cranks it out. It was something we inherited from my grandmother. And she makes stuff and she just gives it away. I said, that wasn't free for you to make, you know? So when she's trying to figure out where to make ends meet, now she looks at her crocheting ability a little bit differently. So you can turn your skills into a paycheck, or you can join a direct sales or multi-level company where you don't have to make up or build the company from the ground up because someone else has already done the work. But find something that would allow you to tap into your passion and do the things that you would love to do for free and help turn that into a paycheck for you. So creating your own source of income is creating money that you control opposed to letting your money control you. By relying on a paycheck from a job that will be here today and gone tomorrow. That is one of my own quotes. I figured out I was quoting everybody else. Let me write a quote. You know you're on the road to success if you would do your job and not get paid for it. From Oprah Winfrey. Step number 4, create a legacy. Now, this is what I love to talk about because so many of us forget about the fact that we cannot just live in the present. There were family before us, there'll be family behind us. So what will we be remembered for? That will be your legacy. These are some of my assets and my legacies. At the top, we have my 3 children, and below on the bottom right are some of my business partners. And here just illustrates some of the speaking events, just me doing what I love to do in my business. This is part of my why. Part of my legacy is what will be said about me when I'm no longer doing this. When people think about me, will they remember that I am knowledgeable and credible? Will they remember that about the community involvement and my commitment to improving financial literacy and financial management? Will they remember the collaborations that we did together? Those are some of the things that I want to be left as my legacy. And at the top left, that is a picture with me and our current mayor in St. Louis, her presenting me with an award. So when we think about creating generational wealth, we must first have to think about what is a generation. In our lifetime, we can really affect or benefit from at least 5 generations. Generational wealth is a long-term plan for future generations, not just for us today. It is a group of people born around the same time or experiencing the same period of time. We, in our lifetime, as I said, we can experience 4 to 5 generations, and I'll explain that. But what's important is that you document how you will generate wealth in your generational wealth plan. So for me, we already determined I am a Gen X. This was my grandmother, not literally, but during this time frame, I remember my grandmother. I benefited from my grandmother, and this will be my mother. That's me. This will be my daughters. And then this will be my grandchildren. So when you break it down and realize, yeah, I really can affect 5 generations in my lifetime. Hopefully that will help you think about things a little bit differently when it comes to your financial impact on those generations. So building your legacy. One of the things that, let me go back because this is going, and I'm going back on purpose this time, not because I'm So during the period, when we talk about the silent generation, this is where I said my grandmother was. So that period covers 1925 to 1944. Then we go here to the generation where my, I don't have grandchildren. I don't know what the new generation is because my grandchildren are going to be up there. But Generation Z is 1995 to 2015. That is almost our 100-year period of time. Okay, you with me? Okay, now I'm going to go back. Now, part of identifying and building your legacy is that I want you to write your own 100-year plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be narrated. Start just bullet pointing some of those things that you want to leave as a legacy, that you may have inherited or acquired, or things that you want to make sure are transferred. That's part of your 100-year wealth plan. Find someone that is fiscally responsible, that can be a family member or a friend, to be a beneficiary of some of those things that are on your plan, not a minor, because we don't want your stuff hung up in court because they're not old enough to handle it. But more importantly, a beneficiary that is, the key words are fiscally responsible. Don't allow an emotional attachment to pick your beneficiary. Don't allow it to be your spouse, your parent, your child, if you know they can't manage money. So those are some of the things, that barriers that we need to get past when we're actually doing this. And another homework assignment for everybody that's watching that works. From this presentation, I want you to think a little bit differently about the paperwork that you filled out as an employee. Go back to your HR departments and see, okay, well, who did I put down as my beneficiary and why? Really think about that. Think about the paperwork that you filled out for your paycheck to be direct deposited. I think I can probably take 10% of my paycheck and slide it over to this bank account, and make sure that I have at least 10% going to my retirement fund. Start to think about those things so that you start to set up a better plan for yourself. Create an estate plan, a will or a trust, 2 different things. But you want to have some type of directive on listing what your assets are and where they want to go. In the state of Missouri, it's real easy to do it because we are a state where we can literally write something down. I use an example, it may not be so figurative, but write it down on a napkin, have somebody witness it and get it notarized. You know, but some states are a little more rigid than Missouri is. But get it down, put it on paper, start documenting, just start thinking through the process so that you're not left, or your family is not left trying to figure it out. So the secrets of wealth: multiple sources of income. And remember, we talked about your money making money. So that's your compounding interest. And owning a business. That's your turning your passion into a paycheck. So part of your legacy is, don't forget your self-care. Invest in yourself. Helping to grow yourself and your business. There are 3 things that I like to recommend. Read daily, about 30 minutes, on the things that you like to do, not the things that you are forced to read, the things that that sparks interest to you. Attend classes, seminars, workshops, conferences on those things that will make you better. I'm somewhere all the time getting some education. I've been to 2 conferences within the last 2 weeks. And Zoom just makes it so much easier. I can be in 3 places at one time. Oh my goodness, I love it. And get a coach or a mentor. You need somebody to bounce your ideas off of. So one of my books, you know that I am an author. One of my books is Taking Control of Your Money. This is a money affirmation journal. It's a 30-day journal that kind of walks you through the process. It walks you through 3 tips. I'm giving you 3 tips to just tell you about the book, about how to start tapping into that money mindset, raising your consciousness about what it is that you're doing with your money. It helps you also create gratitude about what you have coming in. Sometimes we just overlook what we have going on, and until we start to connect with those things, we never see where we've been and where we're trying to go. So the journal is broken up into 30 days. There is an affirmation every day, positive, inspirational affirmation, and then there's a place for you to write your own affirmation. Then you can track your money and be grateful and talk about what it is that you're grateful about. The fact that you may have lost $5 out of your purse. What made you grateful? Well, the grateful thing about that is that maybe whoever picked it up got blessed with it. You never know. So trying to put a positive spin on how we treat our money so that we open the door for more blessings to flow to us. If anybody is interested in grabbing a copy of that book, you can visit my website at www.deletrahudson.com. These are 2 other books that are part of my library and I read every year. I am not joking. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. These 2 books help guide me mentally, and each time I'm reading them, I am learning something different because your headspace is in a different place when you go through different cycles of your life. So these are 2 other great books that help you learn how to start taking control of your money and changing that money mindset. So with your legacy, also, these are ways to continue to build. Properly insure yourself. That means have life insurance policies. Our life insurance are our wealth protection plans. So while we're building wealth, we need something to help secure what it is that we're trying to build. Acquire property and invest in the things that you love to do. As we talked earlier, and I'll be wrapping up, part of my passion is empowering youth. Teaching children how to invest in themselves and learning good money habits are things that we want to teach our children. As we stated, I am an author of 2 children's books thus far, Money Doesn't Grow on Trees and AJ Discovers the $2 Bill, which are both inspired by my children and real life conversations that sparked me to write these books. So I encourage, just pull our children in the process, allow them to help us with grocery shopping, allow them to see what a budget looks like, teach them how to manage their own money and make money. It can be simply as giving allowances. Does anybody give allowances anymore? No, they don't know about that? Oh, okay. All right, so again, I am an advocate of youth financial literacy, and here is a little demonstration of that. This is my first book, Money Doesn't Grow on Trees. Through my partnership with Country Financial, we sent thousands of copies of this book around the country, and I think this classroom over on your top right, it's going to be, I don't know what side is that for you guys.
It's their left.
Their left. The top left is a school in Philadelphia that the teachers sent pictures of the students with the book. The bottom left is my son AJ at one of my book signings. And some of these kids are growing up now, but they're still in my life, and I'm glad to have been a blessing. As we know, I am a mother and a wife, and I'm an advocate for women financial empowerment because I have seen and been impacted by so many women who have not been in a position to understand how money can work for them and have relinquished that power to other people. So making sure that I teach women simple money strategies is one of my priorities. And here, this is a group of some of the women that I've worked with. I do an annual women empowerment workshop, and it's called Lipstick and Legacies. Y'all like that?
No.
Lipstick and Legacies, Women Empowerment Workshop in St. Louis every first Saturday of December. And I get a great turnout of women, and I'm always looking forward to that. So we will be known by the tracks we lead. So let's do great things. Implement steps to take control of your money. Let me help you create your own financial freedom blueprint. Just simply contact me for a complimentary financial empowerment session. And you can join me by going to bit.ly/empowerment session. And we will do a 30-minute one-on-one call, just walking you through creating a plan. Use the power of I am to help release the power of your money. And anybody who contacts me will get a copy of, and I didn't bring any with me, but I will also send you my financial declaration, motivational, what do you want to call it? Really an affirmation, because it's something that I do at my women empowerment events, and everybody gets it, and they get this postcard, and they get to put it wherever they want, and they just keep telling themselves, I am the power behind my money. So it's great. So with that being said, I am Deletra Hudson, a financial educator, and I thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. And feel free to ask me any questions or make any comments at this time. Thank you.
Question?
We do have
Any
questions.
questions?
Yes.
Questions?
Jen, do you want to stop sharing the screen?
Okay.
And then the first question that we have is from Andy Kerr, class of 73. And he says, Deletra, would you please comment on cryptocurrencies and their place in a portfolio?
Hey, Andy, how are you? Cryptocurrency is a new type of digital money. Has everybody here heard about cryptocurrency? There is a little back and forth about what value it has, but cryptocurrency, in my opinion, once you get educated, and there are so many different types of cryptocurrencies right now, I yield that everyone should educate themselves on the type that they desire to have and invest in. But I definitely think that adding cryptocurrency to your portfolio is a good investment upon your own knowledge to have that digital money.
Perfect. We have another question from Clark Gaydon. What made your CFA and why did you pick it over the CFP? What made you get your CFA?
I did not get my CFA. I am a certified master financial planner, but I am not a certified financial planner. So I simply got it from meeting some of the business and educational requirements of being able to sit down and work through people with their financial strategies.
Perfect. Those are all the questions I have on Zoom at this time, so please continue to add them into the chat or using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Do we have any questions in the room?
I just had a quick question about the women's empowerment workshop, and if that was something that we could potentially bring a few students to. If that is there, what are the kind of logistics of that if we registered a few students?
Absolutely. So the question is about my women empowerment workshop that I mentioned that happens every first Saturday in December. And if students are allowed to be registered and attend, absolutely. I would definitely welcome that. That will make me put on a better show. But yes, we will put the link out, and when the link is published, I will make sure that I send it so that it's open to the public. And what I typically do, and this is the 5th year for that, what I'm doing this year, and I have part of my team already working on that. We're having a VIP day the night before, and then the workshop goes for about 4 hours on that following day.
Okay.
So
I
sure,
advise women's sororities and thought that might be an opportunity to,
absolutely.
you know,
I love it.
open that up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I was
Yes.
wondering if you could go back to the slide on creating the estate plan that had the 30 minutes, et cetera. Could you show that again? I went by.
Are we still?
You
I
should
can
still be
do
able
it.
to do it, yeah.
Okay, so
You
I'll
should be
just
able to.
talk it through. for
Yep,
the-
you're fine. You might have to click the screen again.
Yeah. Oh, we have to flip the
One
screen.
second.
So tell me what your question is, and I will.
I wanted to read it. I thought it was really interesting. I was thinking through it and it went by too fast.
Okay, okay. So that was the one about starting to create wealth, where
Right,
you
reading
invest in
30
yourself.
minutes, that one.
Yeah, investing in yourself by starting to read 30 minutes per day on the
Yeah.
things that are most interesting to you, that sparks more interest. You gotta go back a little bit more. One more. 3 more.
There we go.
Okay, there we are. And being able to attend workshops, seminars, conferences that help motivate you to think more, to learn more of that investment in yourself, and getting a coach or a mentor. I tell you right out of the gate, really from my business, starting my business, I had a coach always. To this day, I keep a business coach. Because again, you need someone to help bounce those ideas off of. Someone that's, I'm a firm believer of not having to reinvent the wheel. So if there is someone that can help walk you through trials, tribulations, successes, failures, because there is no growth without failure, although we all fear failure, those are some of the best things that you can get from a coach or a mentor.
So that's one of the things I wanted to ask about. So how do you find it? How do you do that?
I found my first business coach was actually referred to me. And I'm telling you, I really think that that is the best thing. You can do your research, but you really want to look at someone else's experiences. You know how we are taught to go and read the reviews. I like to connect with people who have possibly worked with those coaches before to get their feedback, so that I also am making sure that I am matching that person with my business structure. So because I'm in a financial industry, and that's a service-based business, I need a coach that understands more on how to move in this industry and this type of business, as well as maybe how to take my business from being strictly service-based to implementing some products that will add a different level of revenue to my business.
So one other question to follow up. So how do you think about or manage risk?
How do I think about or manage risk is the
Yeah.
question. Risk in what area?
Well, financial risk. Let's say you're going to start a new business, right? And so you have to have some capital for that. And, you know, how do you know, for example, how would you know when to stop, to pull the plug, say this isn't going anywhere, right? How do you manage the financial risk? How do you manage the personal risk, right?
Sure.
That's sort of the whole picture. Like,
Sure.
How do you think about it?
Sure. So the question is, what are my thoughts on managing risk in my business? When do we know when something is a success or when it's not moving down the right path? Did I?
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
phrase that correctly. So a good example for me, and to give you just a blank answer is you don't know, especially as a business owner. What we might think is a great idea may not work in our market. So one, we first have to make sure that we have properly identified our customer avatar. That is down to the way they walk and the things they like to do. You must know and be able to name your customer. And part of it all depends on what area of my business that I'm working with. I have different avatars. So one, understanding what my customer avatar is and what are some of the things that they are asking for? What are some of their needs? How do we get that information? We get that through marketing surveys. We get that through simply asking them. We get that through social media is a great way to kind of tap into our market and see what it is that they want. And sometimes you just don't get it right every time.
Mhm.
So it's really through trial and error and being able to assess the needs of your clients. So the risk is going to always be there until you see that there is a success.
We have 3 questions currently in the queue.
Awesome.
The first one is from Michelle Moy, class of 89. What is your opinion on the new feature to buy stock slices as opposed to the old way of buying shares of stock? Does one have an advantage over the other?
I love stock slices. And the reason is because to be able to buy stock slices opened the market up to those individuals who could not afford to buy a full share of Apple, you know, or a full share of Microsoft or Google or Facebook. So being able to buy a slice, to pay a little bit something on it, like layaway, you know, those are opportunities that open up the door for investment for people who may not have had the opportunity. So I love it.
Perfect.
You know, stock slices aren't new. I can remember when, but I mean, I told you I've been in this business for 25 years, and there used to be, and I don't think that it is out there anymore. They just changed the name and call it something else, but they called it one share. And but one share was more of being able to buy like one particular share of something for a little bit of money. But if you think of different insurance companies, and we think about the fact of how mutual funds work, the opportunity to buy into companies at a rate of, as opposed to buying a full share of stock, has always been there. We just calling it something different and then marketing it in a different way.
We have a question from Sarah Grabowski, class of 2000. I've done pretty much everything on your list and even started a business 2 years ago. The one thing I haven't done is get a financial planner or invested beyond my 403B and Roth through my full-time government job. Would you advise I get a financial planner, and how can I find one in my area? I'm interested in investing in other areas, but I'd like some guidance before I jump in.
Well, congratulations first that you are investing in your 403B and that you have an IRA. So that is a great start. So keep doing that. What I would advise before you pay to talk to another advisor is making sure that you're maximizing those benefits. So just because you're investing in your employer plan, the 403B, are you maximizing that investment opportunity? So some opportunities give you that the company will match a certain amount of money, or you have an opportunity to invest 8% and you're only investing 3%. Maximize that opportunity and take advantage of that, because that is going to be part of the best way to get started and watch that growth. Because there are I lost my train of thought. There are systems in place that doesn't allow you to pull or touch that money as easily if you had control over it. I think that's a simple way of saying that. So once you have maximized that and you are looking for an investor, I would say looking for an investment broker, I would say start investigating companies. I don't know what area you're in, but if you start to do research on like Edward Jones or companies like that, and start to talk to an investment broker and do some research on that broker, that may be a door that you can enter, and they do that for free. So you can connect with a company for free just to get some information and some advice.
Perfect. And then the last one I've got in the chat right now is from Lori Martin. And she says, the things that we read about just don't have to be financially centered per se. If a person loves to travel, reading about the places that they want to go, how much the trips would be, how long they could stay, and how often they could go will definitely affect how we spend, save, and invest money.
Awesome, Lori, that's my cousin. Awesome, and she's absolutely right. So everything doesn't revolve, just because I am a financial educator doesn't mean that every single thing has to be about money. You find your interest, your passion, and just go with it. Yes.
So I know at the beginning, one of the first things you said is it doesn't matter how much you make and to pay yourself first. So, and I totally understand that. But as things become more challenging and say you're in maybe a position where you don't frequently get fee increases, but your monthly expenses or.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Let's pretend.
Let's pretend that.
That your expenses continue to rise and you do the things you can, or, you know, the starting a second business necessarily isn't an option due to time constraints from your full-time job.
Sure.
Do you have any advice on that and how to manage, for example, when gas prices are skyrocketing and, you know, you're doing groceries? I guess it's a budgeting question to a certain extent, but I guess I'm challenging it's not about how much you make piece, because I find that that's where I often get challenged with the paying myself first.
So I'm going to give you some advice, but let me repeat your question. So the question is, how do you, going back to the beginning, pay yourself first when we're dealing with all of the other things going on in the world? We're dealing with inflation, but we're not seeing an increase in paycheck. We're dealing with managing all of the other things in life. How do we pull away and still pay ourselves first? The first thing is, as you were saying that, and this is my response to a lot with this question, is you don't have an option to pay Uncle Sam. So your taxes are going to come out right away, regardless as to how much money you make. You have to think of yourself that exact same way. So now that I've said that, let me give you some solutions, because I believe in giving solutions. One of the best ways to do that is to invest in some type of pre-taxed type of fund. So a pre-tax fund can be like a 457 or cafeteria plan. Certain companies that, and when I say this, I'm not promoting any company. I just want to give you some examples of a good company that does 457 plans is Voya, VOYA. And it gives you an opportunity to invest before taxes. So what does that do for you? Your taxes are taken out and your taxes are factored on how much money is left for paying taxes. So if you have an investment that's coming out pre-tax, your amount of taxes that are paid is now reduced. Let's put that in numbers. We have $1,000 a week. And we have a 457 or cafeteria plan where we have $100 coming out of that. So now we're taxed on $900 as opposed to $1,000. That achieves two goals for you. Where you didn't think that you could save, you're now saving, and you're also reducing your tax burden. So I go back to say, we can control it when we don't see it, when we take it out of our control, when we eliminate ourselves from the process, when we automate that process, we can get it done. So my advice is to visit HR. If you don't already know or have, because most these things have to come through your employer. You can't do a pretext on your own. Visit HR, ask them, hey, do we have any 457 cafeteria plans that I can start investing in? You can start with as little as $25. Now you may say, I just said I don't have it, but you're going to realize that when you do that $25, $50 investment pre-tax, your take home is not going to change that much. Because where now it's going to you, before it was going in taxes. Okay, so I hope that helps. You're welcome.
I have just a question from me, not from the chat.
Sure.
I noticed that you mentioned not setting up something for minors or not leaving the finances to minors. And that's something as parents we want to do. We want to leave a little something, make sure our kids are doing well. So what would you recommend doing as an alternative so that that money doesn't end up in the courts through the system or anything like that?
I would recommend that. So just to clarify, don't make minors your beneficiaries.
Yes.
So that means that you should make someone who is responsible and will have the best interest of your minor at heart. That person can be the beneficiary so that when the minor turns a certain age, and you can have this documented in your will or your trust, and when that minor turns a certain age, then it automatically recognizes them as entitled to what you've left them. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Are those
have
all the questions?
We have a lot of comments of people just saying excellent presentation. They really enjoyed it. Lori is talking about how she was a Knox student. And so there's a little bit of banter going back and forth between Knox and Monmouth. But that looks like it's wrapped up all of the questions we've got here in the chat today.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and I truly enjoyed the conversation and feedback, and I look forward to the next time.
Thank you. Just want to thank everyone for attending tonight, and thank Deletra, that was so great and so informative. And just a reminder about that survey, please let us know how this went and what you would like to see in the future. We hope if you're not here in this room, if you're on that computer, that you'll be back to campus in 2 days for homecoming. We're going to have more, we have a great weekend planned, but we also have more content like this coming throughout the next month. So catch our website. Thank you all for coming. Go Scots.